Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. I'm going to play the entirety of the video and then I'll go back and talk about things that are going on to better explain what's going on and things that I think that were done right and or done wrong. Just a reminder, the initial video released by the Denver police is 30 minutes long. It does provide a lot of information about what went on and provides different camera angles. So the initial video itself is 30 minutes. Just keep that in mind. And then after the 30 minutes will be my spiel. So without further ado, here we go.
Hello, my name is Matt Clark, and I'm a lieutenant in the Denver Police Department's Major Crimes Division. This critical incident debriefing is intended to provide you with information regarding an officer-involved shooting that occurred in the 2400 block of South Colorado Boulevard on Tuesday, September 15, 2020. You are about to see relevant video footage and learn about other evidence and police procedures related to the case, so you have an understanding of the details of this incident. The use of deadly force by a police officer demands a thorough investigation be completed. The Denver Police Department is committed to ensuring a full and timely investigation of these serious incidents. This allows for a comprehensive examination of the officer's actions to determine compliance with state statutes and department policies. In accordance with legislation passed in 2015, the investigation of police shootings in Denver are conducted by a multi-agency investigative team made up of members of the Denver and Aurora Police Department homicide units, as well as the Denver District Attorney's Office. All critical incident investigations are actively monitored by the Office of the Independent Monitor. A word of caution: the images and information you are about to see may be disturbing. When a police officer uses force to arrest a suspect or defend against an attack, it can be graphic and difficult to watch. In addition, there may be strong language used by those shown in the video. Viewer discretion is advised. On Tuesday, September 15, 2020, at approximately 10:30 p.m., a female called the Denver Police Department's non-emergency line and provided secondhand information regarding an intoxicated subject with a handgun in the parking lot of the apartment complex at 2499 South Colorado Boulevard. The caller explained that her family observed a handgun fall out of the subject's pants. She expressed concern that the subject with the handgun may hurt himself as he seemed to be in distress.
My brother and my brother-in-law and my grandpa were downstairs outside, and nothing happened, but there was a guy out there that he was visibly impaired, and he tried to hug everybody, and then a gun fell out of his pants.
District 3 patrol officers were promptly dispatched to the call. When the officers arrived at the apartment complex, a bystander standing on his balcony advised the officers that the subject had walked northeast from the location. Officers located the described male in the 2400 block of South Colorado Boulevard on the east side of the street. The officers observed the subject was staggering and appeared to be intoxicated as he walked across Colorado Boulevard to the west side of the street. This person was later determined to be 22-year-old McPherson. When officers approached Mr. McPherson, he was on the sidewalk in front of a small strip mall at 2401 South Colorado Boulevard. Since Mr. McPherson was believed to be armed, the officers parked their police vehicles against traffic in the southbound lanes of South Colorado Boulevard with their emergency overhead lights flashing. The officers exited their vehicles and initiated a high-risk contact. A high-risk contact is utilized anytime officers confront an individual they believe may be armed and may pose a threat to the officers. This method of contact creates distance between the subject and the officers and generally allows officers an opportunity to issue verbal commands to obtain voluntary compliance from the subject. Mr. McPherson turned toward the officers when they contacted him. He placed his hands in the air and verbally began interacting with the officers.
Get your hands up! What did I do? Somebody said you had a gun. Now get on the ground! Get on the ground! What did I do?
Mr. McPherson was walking around in the street and on the sidewalk while questioning the officers.
What did I do?
The officers repeatedly advised Mr. McPherson to raise his hands and get on the ground.
Get down on your knees!
At one point, when Mr. McPherson turned his back to the officers, an officer observed the grip of a semi-automatic handgun protruding from the front right pocket of Mr. McPherson's pants.
He's got something in his pocket.
I see it, it's a gun.
The officers communicated the presence of the handgun to each other, at which time Mr. McPherson verbally acknowledged he had a firearm.
There is a gun in my pocket.
Mr. McPherson then moved his hand toward the firearm and began removing it from his pocket. The three involved officers, Corporal Robert Corelli, Corporal Anthony Gutierrez McCain, and Officer Dennis List, feared for their safety as Mr. McPherson was drawing the firearm from his pocket. Each officer fired their duty weapon at Mr. McPherson. Mr. McPherson was struck multiple times by the rounds that were fired. The officers stopped firing their weapons when Mr. McPherson dropped the firearm, and they believe he was no longer a threat. The officers immediately rendered medical aid and continued doing so until Mr. McPherson was transported by ambulance to a local hospital. Mr. McPherson was pronounced deceased at the hospital shortly after he arrived. Following a police shooting, any officers involved in the incident are separated and assigned to a supervisor once the situation is stabilized. Involved officers remain in the company of the assigned supervisor throughout the initial investigation of the incident. Through the investigation, it was determined that the officers fired a total of 13 rounds. At the scene, investigators recovered Mr. McPherson's firearm on the ground along the west curb line of South Colorado Boulevard. This firearm was a Glock 17 Gen 4 9mm semi-automatic handgun with a magazine in the gun. There were no live rounds in the chamber of the firearm. The magazine contained 4 live rounds of 9mm ammunition. A toxicology report revealed the presence of cannabinoids in Mr. McPherson's system. His blood alcohol content was 0.259 grams per milliliter. For reference, this level is more than 3 times higher than the legal limit to drive in Colorado. All officers assigned to uniform patrol duties in Denver have been issued body-worn cameras. These devices are generally worn at chest level by patrol officers and are capable of recording both audio and video. Prior to being activated by the officer, the body-worn camera maintains a 30-second video buffer. Once the officer activates the camera, the 30-second video buffer is captured and the camera starts recording both audio and video. It is important to note that a body-worn camera captures a general perspective of what is in the camera's view. However, this footage may or may not be what the officer actually saw or perceived. At times, an officer's movement or hand positioning may inadvertently block the camera's view. Additionally, the camera may not capture light in the same way as an officer's eye. Here is the relevant raw body camera footage that was captured by the involved Denver police officers' body-worn cameras. Again, viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, bro, put your hands up.
How you doing, sir? Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Get up. Put your hands on your head, behind your head. Turn around. Face away from me.
Why?
Get on the ground.
Why?
Because I said so.
Why? Do it. What did I do?
Get your hands up. You're going to get shot. Get your hands up.
What did I do?
Somebody said you had a gun. Now get on the ground. Get on the ground.
What did I do?
Get on the ground now.
Oh, what did I do?
Don't walk over here.
No, what did I do?
Get on the ground now.
What did I do?
Tony, I need less lethal here. Get on the ground. If you walk over me, I'm going to shoot you. You understand that?
Oh, please don't.
Get on your knees right now.
What did I do?
Get on the ground right now.
What did I do?
Get on the ground. I'll tell you about it. Get on the ground right now.
What did I do?
He's got something in his pocket.
I see it's a gun.
Get on the ground right now. 55 Sam, shots fired, officer involved. Put your hands out to the outside.
Put your hands up.
Tony, you want to work your way over to me? We'll go up this way. Both of you guys come over here.
Yes, sir.
Walk around this way. Get your hands above your head. Keep them out like an airplane. Put the gun on the left. I got it. Don't move. He's got a knife right here. Stand by. Stand by. Don't move.
Which side? Roll him. Which side? Pull on your right side.
I'm hurt bad, please don't.
Okay.
Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
Why'd you shoot me?
Right here. Right here.
Why'd you shoot me?
There you go.
Okay.
All right, get gloves.
Why'd you
Let's see.
shoot me?
Let's get him onto his seated position.
Why'd
Okay.
you shoot me?
Hey,
Hold on, pal.
listen to me, partner.
Why'd you shoot
Can
me?
you sit up? Yeah. Are you able to sit
Why'd
up?
you shoot me?
All right.
Why'd you shoot me? Why did you
Okay,
shoot
so you
me?
got one right here for me.
I got the clock.
Why?
This side's empty.
Why did
Checking
you
this left
shoot
side.
me?
Okay. Hey, JD.
Yeah.
Never mind. I don't see anybody over here.
His waistband's clear. Get him on.
Roll on to your side, bud.
Come on, buddy.
Here you go.
God, please help
Okay.
me.
So we got some in the back here.
All right, sir.
God, please help me.
Got one and
We got one that looks
Chelsea.
like in the leg.
Why?
let's start this back one.
All right, sir. Where is it? I can't see the hole.
Right here.
God,
Okay.
please help me.
Yeah, block traffic up there for me, please.
You guys got cover while I do this? So I'm
Yeah,
not-
yeah, you're good.
God, I love you.
Sir, just keep breathing, okay? Anybody else got?
I don't have any quick
I got more quick.
JD,
Where?
Yo,
Did you shoot?
I did not shoot.
Can you put pressure on this?
Can you
Somebody?
go with him to the ambulance for now? Or were you here when the shots?
We pulled up and you fired.
You got
All right,
any?
you'll wait here.
Right there, back.
Yeah.
Okay. I got extra. I got no. Okay, you got gloves. Okay.
Hey, bud, what's your name? What is your name? Hey, what's your name? Mac?
Where do you need to quick pot at?
Mac.
He's got an injury in his leg.
Okay, let me see. Let me get some light on here.
Can you just help shut down traffic and start throwing some tape for me? Thank you.
Alright, I don't see where.
Hey, tell me your first name, bud.
Alright, he looks
Mac?
like he's got one.
Mac, what's your last
Do
name?
his pants, yeah.
McPherson.
You guys got trauma?
Mac, you gotta talk to me, buddy.
If you got shears, help him with the leg.
Hey, anybody got a seatbelt cutter or anything like that?
I've got. Yeah.
Just tear it. That's fine. There you go.
Alright, I got one in the leg.
You want to just finish with your shirt here?
You got a tourniquet?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Right here. You got it? Yeah. You just cut this so we can see the rest of his back.
Take them off.
Hey, what's your name, partner? Keep talking, okay? What's your name, partner?
Shannon,
Stay with us, friend.
get ready. I need you to go to the hospital with him.
In the bus?
Yes.
He's got one in his right shoulder. Right shoulder? Right here. I got it covered.
Chest. Right there.
Anybody need another tourniquet?
No.
I got an extra one in my right pocket. You got it, JD? Yeah. Okay.
Don't go to sleep. Stay up, all right?
Check his wallet for ID for me, please.
What's your name, partner? Hey, it's Christopher.
Mac.
Chris.
He said his name is Mac.
His name's Mac. Mac. Stay awake with me, buddy. Stay awake. If you need another one,
So,
you got any other down on his right arm here?
Shannon, me, him, and the recruit. Shannon's gonna go to the hospital with him.
No, who's
She's
shot?
ready. Me, Tony, and the recruit.
Okay, cool.
Got his here.
right,
He had
you,
another knife. It's right
Come
there.
with me on separate.
Yeah. All right, just hang on
Hey,
to it. We're
Sarge.
gonna need it.
Williams and I were here at the onset.
All right, cool. All right, no worries.
Yeah, they're witness officers. Davis is ready to go with the bus. Give the sergeant the ID, and then take it with you. Joe, can you start getting some tape up for me?
Yep.
Thank you. Just across. All right. Then, can you do me a favor? We're gonna get separated. Can you watch this? Gun and knife.
Yep, well,
Right here.
Where's tape?
Hey, there you go.
Leg, you got a tourniquet on?
Perfect. He's got shots in the back. Looks like one in the chest, couple in the leg. Yeah, that's why I'm standing here, so they don't knock it over.
One line here, one in this right shoulder.
Hey.
One in the chest. Okay, how do you want us to help?
That's the goddamn question. I think we're just gonna have to grab this and go for it.
Okay.
Am I cam on the bus or just I'm going with it?
Liss, Liss, 20016. Shannon. And mine is 13036.
For right now, we'll get him to church that roof.
13036.
I don't
have Tony's, he's 13.
No worries.
Hey, Marino. Will you follow me down?
Can I have someone on this side?
Already over the gun, buddy.
Yep. Roger got a gun right here. He's got a knife right there. Liss.
Hey, can I have somebody just lift this end of the cot?
This in here?
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah, I'll take it. All right. Sergeant Joe's gonna follow.
All right, let's go.
All right, Crowley, you're gonna take me. All right.
Yeah, let's back out.
You're
Liss.
gonna go with Sergeant Schultz.
Hey, you
Scene secure. Scene secure. Turn off the camera.
You good, man?
Body cams
Yeah,
off.
just
Get on the ground!
Please don't. Please don't.
Get on the ground!
What did I do?
Don't you put your hands on your head!
What did I do?
Get on the ground, I'll tell you about it. Get on the ground right now.
What did I do?
You got something in his pocket.
I see it, it's a gun.
Get on the
There
ground.
is a gun in my pocket.
Don't grab the gun! Fuck. Ah, shit.
Put your hands up to your head.
Put your hands up!
Tony, you want to work way over to me? We'll go up this way. Yep. Hold you guys over here.
Yes, sir.
Walk down this way. You got like an airplane. Oh, no.
The gun on the left. We're with you. We're with you.
I'm gonna go hands on. I'm gonna go hands on. I'm gonna go hands on.
Stand by. Don't move.
I'm hurt. I'm hurt. Which side? Roll him. Which side? I'm hurt. Pull on to your right side.
I'm hurt, man. Please don't.
Okay.
You got that hand?
Behind your back.
Why'd you shoot me?
Right here. Right here.
Why'd you shoot me?
There you go. Okay.
Why'd you shoot me?
Let's get him onto a seated position, okay?
Why'd you shoot me?
Hey,
Hold on, pal.
listen to me, partner.
Why'd you shoot me?
Can you sit up? Yeah.
Guys, I've got quick clot, or that's not gonna help him too much, I don't think, but
Why did you shoot
I
me?
got one right here for me.
I got quick clot.
Why?
This side's empty.
Why did
Checking
you
his left
shoot
side.
me?
Hey, JD.
Yeah.
But roll on to your side, bud.
Come on, buddy.
There you go.
God, please help
Okay.
me.
So we got someone here.
All right, sir.
God, please help me.
Got one, and
We got one that looks like in the leg.
Is there anything that I can use for this quick clot?
let's start this back one.
All right, sir.
Ah,
Where is it? I can't see the hole.
God,
Okay.
please help me. Please help me.
You guys got cover while I do this? So I'm not.
God. I love you.
Sir, just keep breathing, okay?
Anybody else got? I don't have any.
I got more quick clot.
Where?
Right here.
I did not shoot.
Can you put pressure on this, somebody?
Yeah. We pulled up and you fired.
You got it?
Right there, back.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got extra. I got no. Okay, you got gloves. Okay.
Hey, bud, what's your name? Hey,
Here's extra quick clot.
Where do you need to quick clot at?
I'm not sure
He's
yet.
got an injury in his leg.
Okay.
Let me see. Let me take. Hey, let me get some light on here.
Can you just
Let me see if I can get
shut
a.
down traffic and start
Is it through? All right. I don't see where.
All right. Yeah, he's got.
Tell me the first name, bud.
All right. He looks like he's got one.
Matt, what's your last name?
Undo his pants. Yeah.
You guys got trauma shears or anything? If you got shears, help him with the leg.
Hey, anybody got a seatbelt cutter or anything like that?
I've got.
Yeah.
Alright, I got one in the leg.
You want to just finish with your shirt?
Alright.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, you got it?
Yep.
Just got this.
Take his pants off, man.
Just take them off. Hey, what's your name, partner? He's talking, okay? What's your name, partner?
Lift his leg.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stay with us, friend.
Get ready. I need you to go to the hospital.
Do you have any other holes?
He's got one in his right shoulder.
Right shoulder?
Right here. I got it covered.
Sit down. Sit down. I'm going to need the number for you when you have a chance.
Anybody need another tourniquet?
I have another one.
Okay. I got an extra one in my right pocket. You got it, JD?
Yeah.
Okay.
Last four again.
Nope, that's not tight enough.
765.
Nope. I need to go a bit higher.
Yep. Get that thing up there.
Yep.
Don't go to sleep. Stay up, all right? Stay awake. Keep talking to us. What's your name, partner?
I think it's Christopher.
Mac. Chris.
His name is Mac.
His name's Mac. Mac. Stay awake with
stay
me,
awake.
buddy. Stay awake.
Alright, we got a tourniquet on him.
If you need another one, he got any other down on his right arm here?
Email 70. Nation of Violence.
Alright, you go with me. I'll separate.
You guys need any more quick clot?
Hey, Sarge. Williams and I were here at the onset, but no shots.
Right, no worries.
Sir?
Continuing to hold here.
Joe, can you start getting some tape up for me?
Yep.
Charlie, have me a call. Thanks, and I'll be right in the boat now.
You don't need another tourniquet, buddy?
No, I don't need another tourniquet. Looks like we got blood. We got most of the bleeding stopped in the leg.
Okay.
I think his leg's broken though.
Okay.
You got a tourniquet on?
Yep.
Yep.
You got shots in the back, looks like one in the chest, couple in the leg.
Did we tell dispatch what time the tourniquet was applied?
One high near the neck, and then one in this right shoulder.
Yeah.
And he's got one in the chest.
You can release him.
Yeah, he's moaning.
Alright.
Supervisor.
Hey, boss.
There's 3
I think he's
involved.
on
Get
screen.
him on the bed.
Alright.
Okay, how do you want us to help?
That's the goddamn question. I think we're just gonna have to grab a piece and go for it.
Okay. Alright, I got this right side. Let's go.
Yeah.
Come on, buddy. I got it.
Let's
Get him up there.
Throw a couple of these on for right now. We'll get everything churched up in the ambulance, okay? I know, partner. We're gonna get you all squared away.
Hey, Marino. Going off camera.
Yeah.
Hey, can I have somebody just lift this into the back?
This in here? Yeah. Ready?
Sarge Joe's gonna follow me.
Alright, Charlie, you're gonna take a peek.
Yeah, it's back out.
You're gonna go as Sergeant Schultz.
Hey, you're gonna come with me, man. We'll
Here, camera.
You good?
Body camera off.
See you secure.
Put your hands on your head, behind your head. Turn around, face away from me. Get on the ground.
567. I'm at with 557. We have one at gunpoint.
Hey, put your hands up. Put your hands up. What did I do?
Got one at gunpoint.
Face away from me.
We'll be at Colorado and Wesley. On our 5 to the north. It's on the west side of the state.
No, what did I do? No, what did I do? Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
Get down on your knees!
What did I do? Don't you put your hands on your head. What did I do? What did I do? I see it's a gun. There is a gun in my pocket.
Get on the ground!
Put your hands up to the outside. Put your hands up.
Tony, you want to work way over to me? We'll go this way.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Move up. Move up. Get the gun on the left.
We're with you. We're with you.
I'm gonna go hands on.
Nice, right here.
I'm gonna go hands on.
Stand by. Don't move. I'm hurt.
Which side? Roll him. Which side?
I'm hurt bad. Please don't.
Okay.
Hook him up. Hook him up. Hook him up.
Behind your back. Why did you shoot me?
Right here. Right here.
Why did you
got
shoot me?
There you go. Okay.
Why did you shoot me?
Let's get him onto his seated position,
Why did
okay?
you shoot me?
Hey, hold on, pal. Listen to me, partner.
Why did you shoot me?
Can you sit up? Yeah. Are you able to sit up?
I've got quick clot, or that's not gonna help you too much.
Hey, from Moloch, this is code 4. Start me, Sergeant, please.
Yep, you got one in round. Yeah, I'm on the way. Yeah.
This side's empty.
Checking this side. Continuing to hold the year 2244.
His waistband's clear. Get him onto his butt.
Hold on to your side, Bart.
Come on, buddy.
God, please help me.
You good?
Yeah, just leave the gun, yeah. Just secure it.
Right, sir.
God, please help me.
Got one. And we got one that looks like in the leg. Is there anything that I can use for this quick clap?
Just start this back one.
Right, sir. Where is it? I can't see the hole.
God, please help me.
Yeah, block that. Block traffic up here for me, please.
You guys got cover while I do this? So I'm not.
You're good. God, I love you.
Okay, next Thursday night, you guys stop traffic at Island.
Sir, just keep breathing, okay?
Oh,
Anybody else got quick clap?
I don't have any quick
I got
Here you go, here you go.
Max, you want to talk to you, buddy?
If you got cheers, help him with the leg.
Hey, anybody got a seatbelt cutter or anything like that?
I got. Yeah.
Scissors, scissors, scissors.
There you go.
I got one in the leg.
You want to just finish with your shirt here?
You got a tourniquet?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Right here? You got it? You just cut this so we can see the rest of his back.
Just take them off.
Hey, what's your name, partner? Keep talking, okay? What's your name, partner?
Lift his leg.
Is that another one? Yeah.
Stay with us, friend.
Get ready. I need you to go to the hospital with him. Yes.
Do you have any other holes? He's got one in his right shoulder. Right shoulder? Right here. I got it covered.
Chest.
Turn down. Right there. Okay, I'm going to need someone to wave at you.
Anybody need another tourniquet? I have another one. Okay.
I don't have any.
I got an extra one in my right pocket. You got it, JD?
Yeah.
Okay.
Last word again.
Well, that's not tight.
765.
I need a little bit higher. Yep. Get the thing up there. Yep.
Don't go to sleep. Stay up, all right? Stay awake. Keep talking to us,
What's
okay?
your name, partner? I think it's Christopher.
Mac.
Chris.
Say his name is Mac.
His name's Matt. Matt. Stay awake with me, buddy. Stay awake. If you need another one, so he got any other down on his right arm here?
Sign in.
Us, all three of us.
Three?
Yep,
Gonna
three.
go to the hospital with him. No, she's ready.
You guys are good.
Yep.
Tony.
70.
Okay, cool.
Station of violation.
Gun's right there, sorry.
It's here.
Right,
He had
you,
another knife. It's right there.
Come with me, I'll separate.
You.
I'm going to turn my camera off. The Denver District Attorney will review the details of this incident and determine if the officer's actions were in compliance with Colorado law. After the District Attorney renders a decision, the Denver Police Department's Internal Affairs Bureau and Conduct Review Bureau will complete an administrative review of this case. The details of the case will be presented to a Use of Force Review Board, which is made up of community members and police command officers. This board will determine whether the actions of the Denver police officers were in compliance with the high standards expected of every Denver police officer related to policies, training, and tactics. For additional information regarding the investigation of critical incidents or the Denver Police Department's use of force policies, you may visit denvergov.org/police. Thank you for taking the time to view this critical incident briefing.
All right, let's get into it. So let's drop the volume and go back to the very beginning. It's pretty far away. So police get a call of this dude.
Because I said so.
Why? What did I do?
Get your hands up! You're gonna get shot! Get your hands up!
What did I do?
It's pretty obvious that they're the police. They've identified themselves as the police. They're in uniform. They're in marked vehicles. There's flashing blue and red lights. Like, it's obvious this is the police. The conversation that this guy is having with them seems to indicate that he understands they are the police.
Somebody said you had a gun. Now get on the ground. Get on the ground.
What did I do?
Get on the ground now.
No, what did I do?
Don't walk over here.
No, what did I do?
Get on the ground now.
What did I do?
Tony, I need less lethal here. Get on the ground. If you walk over me, I'm going to shoot you. Do you understand that?
No, please don't.
Get on your knees right now.
What did I do?
Get on the ground right now.
What did I do?
Get on the ground. I'll tell you about it. Get on the ground right now.
What did I do?
He's got something in his pocket.
I see it's a gun.
Get on the ground right now.
So he grabbed that gun. You can see it. Watch very closely.
Get on the ground.
The gun is on this side right here. He uses his right hand right here to reach for it and grab it.
Right now.
And you see it fall and hit the ground after he gets shot. This is clear cut. Like, you have no idea what a person's intentions are going to be once they grab that gun. Now, he was drunk.
Get on the ground.
And probably a little stupid. He very well may have had the intention of lifting the gun out of his pocket and setting on the ground. He may have had that intention. He also may have had the intention to pull that gun out and shoot at the police. We don't know. We don't know what his intentions were. But what we do know is he understood that he was dealing with the police, that the police were giving very clear and concise instructions. They were not confusing whatsoever. I think that any reasonable person with a reasonable mind would say that in this situation, if a person pulled their gun out, there was going to be some consequences. Drunk or not drunk, like, you understand consequences. You may not make the best decisions when knowing what those consequences are, like drunk driving. We all know that drunk driving is wrong. You can get into a wreck more easily than you could if you were sober. There's legal implications involved, losing your license, paying a bunch of fines, etc. People still make stupid decisions, even though they know there's repercussions. When he grabbed that gun, it was green light for those officers to protect themselves against the possibility that he could shoot them with his gun. No doubt about it.
Right now! 55 Sam, shots fired, officer involved.
Very cool, calm, and collected radio communication. He's very clear and concise with his transmission. He wasn't yelling in the radio or anything. Very clear, concise.
55 Sam, shots fired, officer involved.
You know what? He sounds about as cool as the other side of a pillow.
Put your hands out to the outside!
Put your hands up!
Tony, you want to work your way over to me? We'll go up this way. Both of you guys come over here.
Yes, sir.
Walk around this way. Get your hands above your head. Keep them out like an airplane.
Put the gun on the left.
Good, clear communications between each other. Good command and control. This guy's definitely taking charge of the situation, and he is leading these other officers to their goal here.
I got
To
it.
the next task.
Don't move. He's got a knife right here. Stand by. Stand by. Don't move.
Which side, roll?
Very quickly recognized the fact the guy had another weapon on him and took control of that weapon and threw it off to the side where he could not reach it.
Which side? Pull on your right side.
I'm hurt, man. Please don't.
Okay.
Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
Why'd you shoot me?
Right here. Right here.
Why'd you shoot me?
There you go.
Okay.
So they handcuff him after shooting him. That is a pretty common tactic all across the country. The reason being why they handcuff people after they shot them is people can start to become combative after being shot. They may be a little more tame after being shot, but that tameness can wear out and then they can become extremely aggressive and hostile again and start fighting. For a person, who it has been a legit gunfight, they're shooting at the police and the police shoot back and they hit them. There has been multiple times where a violent aggressor has been shot by the police and they went down, but then they got back up and was back in the fight. One famous case that is referenced a lot within the training community is an incident in Florida with the FBI. It was in Miami back in the 80s. FBI agents tracked down a couple of bank robbers and go to stop them. Gunfight starts. One of the bad guys during the beginning phase of this gunfight gets shot in the head. He goes unconscious for a brief amount of time. Then he wakes back up and gets back in the fight. The other guy, right in the beginning of the gunfight, he actually takes a fatal round through the side of his chest. The round lands within his heart. He was going to die from that round. There was going to be no saving him, but it was not immediately incapacitating for him. And so he was able to get back in the fight. And on top of that first round hitting him like that, he was also shot multiple other times throughout this gunfight with handguns and a shotgun. And he stayed in the fight. He ended up killing 2 FBI agents and wounding others before he finally went down with more gunfire. And that happens more than what you think, because we're dealing with, most of the time, pistol caliber ammunition. And pistol caliber ammunition just kind of sucks. The only reason why we carry pistols is because they're more comfortable and convenient. You can carry a pistol on you for 8, 10, 12 hours out of the day working and not think much of it. You try to carry a rifle for that same amount of time, it's going to suck. So they're handcuffing him in the event that he becomes violent and starts fighting. It's a whole lot harder for a person to fight when their hands are cuffed behind their backs. Kind of limits what they can do. So this is why they're handcuffing him.
Right here.
Why did you shoot me?
There you go. Okay. All right, get gloves.
Let's get him onto his seated position.
Why did you shoot me?
Hey,
Hold on, pal.
listen to me, partner.
Why did you shoot me?
Can you sit up? Yeah. Are you able to
Why
sit
did
up?
you shoot me?
That's not gonna help you too much.
Why did you shoot me? Why did you
Okay,
shoot
so
me?
you got one right here for me.
I got quick clap.
Why?
This side's empty.
Why did you
Checking the left
shoot
side.
me?
Okay. Hey, JD.
Yeah.
Never mind. I don't see anybody over here.
His waistband's clear. Get him on.
Okay. Roll on to your side, bud.
Come on,
All right, let's back that up.
Hey, JD.
Yeah.
Never mind. I don't see anybody over here.
His waist.
So he's a little cognizant of the fact of where their backdrop is. There's a vehicle or some business fronts here. At this point, he's cognizant of that, and he wants to check it out. If I remember correctly, there's another point where they say check back here, make sure there's no one else back there. That's an important thing to think about and remember in these situations, especially in urban environments, is 360 degrees. So it's not like the shooting range where you got the nice earth burn behind you to stop bullets. Behind bad guys, there are usually cars and buildings and people. So in the aftermath of a shooting, once everything's secure, start looking around and see where some missed rounds could have gone. Because when dealing with pistols, there are going to be a lot of times where rounds are missed, and it's the nature of the beast. It happens. Should it happen? No, but it happens. And so you should be aware of the fact that rounds are more than likely going to miss, and you need to check and make sure that one of those rounds hasn't hit someone else.
Yeah.
Never mind. I don't see anybody over here.
His waistband's clear. Get him on.
Okay. Roll on to your side, bud.
Come on, buddy.
There you go.
God, please help me.
Okay.
Now they're starting to put gloves on and dealing with this guy. Immediately after the shooting, get all the way up. All right, so they've
Put your
dropped
hands
him.
above your head. Keep him out like. Don't move. He's got a knife right here. Stand by. Stand by. Don't move.
All right, so looks like he doesn't have gloves on, nor does this guy. I would have been a lot happier to see them put gloves on before going hands-on with this guy. In this moment, as they're making that approach, he is just kind of laying there, moaning and groaning. I think that they could have taken the time to put on gloves before going hands-on with this guy. When you're dealing with bodily fluids from another person, you have to assume that they have something, and you need to take the time to protect yourself and your family by putting on gloves. Now, if it's your kid or your wife at home or anywhere and they're bleeding, do you necessarily need to take the time to put gloves on? No, you don't need to take that time. That's your family. You know their blood. Strangers, man, you have no idea what they've got. If this guy was so stupid to do what he did and made these bad decisions, you have to assume that he made other stupid decisions in life that could have caused him to contract some type of bloodborne pathogen like AIDS or hepatitis. You don't want to bring that stuff home. You don't want that. Put gloves on. Body substance isolation, BSI. Put your gloves on when dealing with bodily fluids. They could have taken the time to pause long enough to put gloves on, and I think they should have put gloves on. Now they're starting to put the gloves on to go deal with his injuries.
One right here for me.
Checking his left side.
Okay. Hey, JD.
Yeah.
Side, bud.
Come on, buddy.
There you go.
God, please help
Okay.
me.
So we got someone back here.
We have one person who
Please help
Okay.
me.
don't know where the medical gear came from.
His waistband's clear. Get him
Looks like he could be getting it out of his
Roll on
vest.
to your side, bud.
Come on, buddy.
There you go.
God, please help
Okay.
me.
So we got someone
It came
back
from
here.
somewhere on him, which that's good. I like seeing people carry medical gear
God, please help
on them.
me.
Got one and
We got one that looks like in the leg.
If you carry the tools to induce trauma, then you should also be carrying the tools to reduce trauma. If you carry a gun every day, whether you're an armed citizen or you're a security officer or you're a police officer, you should carry medical gear as well. If you carry a gun, then that means you recognize the fact that you could potentially one day be involved in a deadly physical encounter. And that deadly physical encounter could involve a gunfight. Gunfight having bullets go both directions. And with that being said, then you should recognize the possibility that you could be shot. One of your teammates, coworkers, family members could be shot or injured. You should always carry medical gear on you. Even if you don't carry a gun, I still believe that you should carry some form of medical gear on you or keep it in your vehicle. If you're doing uniformed work, armed uniformed work, even unarmed uniformed work, you should have medical gear on you. And this is what I would describe as first line medical gear. It can be very minimal, doesn't have to be a whole lot, but very minimal, enough to deal with extreme hemorrhaging and possibly to deal with some airway issues. So, number one, a tourniquet. Extreme bleeding from an extremity, like an arm or a leg that has hit the artery in one of those places, you need a tourniquet to slow or stop that blood flow coming out of that broken artery. Compressed gauze to pack into a wound or wrap it around a wound to stop the bleeding. A nasopharyngeal airway tube to insert down the nose to keep a good airway on that person, and in case you've got to start delivering some assisted ventilations. Little things like that you can keep on your person. If you carry a backup gun in an ankle holster, well, then you can carry medical gear in another ankle holster. There are medical ankle holsters on the market. A few different vendors make them. I actually have a video on one of them. Highly recommend you go check it out. You can carry those very minimal things in there, and it doesn't take up a whole lot of room. If you have an outer vest and you've got a bunch of pouches on it, magazine pouches, you got a taser on there, flashlight, baton, you got a bunch of stuff on there, there's really no reason why you shouldn't have a pouch on there to hold medical equipment. If you've got I'll say this: if you have an outer vest and it has a bunch of shit on there, a bunch of little pouches and stuff, and you don't have a medical pouch on you, then you're fucked up. Just be honest. Like, if you got all that stuff on there, all that real estate, keep all those things on there, but you don't have any medical gear on you whatsoever, something's wrong with you. That first line gear, in my opinion, should be reserved for you, your teammates, your family. Everyone else, they can wait. The only time I believe that your first line medical gear, the stuff that you carry on your person, should ever be used on anyone else is when you are very confident in the fact or the belief that there is no more fighting to be done in this incident. And this is one of these incidents. There are multiple officers there, multiple of them. It seems pretty clear that it's just this guy alone. I would feel confident in taking my tourniquet off and putting it on this guy, especially if I know that these other guys have tourniquets as well. Because the likelihood from this incident, more fighting happening and more good guys or yourself being shot and needing a tourniquet is pretty low. Now, there are other scenarios, other hot calls where, the bad guy's been shot and it's just one officer or two officers there and they go to put a tourniquet on the bad guy. But there's a where they're at and the circumstances involved, there's a possibility there could be another bad guy in around there somewhere. In those instances, hell no. Don't take your good tourniquet off your body and put it on that bad guy when the possibility could exist where another bad guy could pop around the corner and start shooting at you and then hit you in the femoral artery. Now you don't have a tourniquet to use. Or hit your partner in the leg. Now you don't have a tourniquet to put on them. So first line medical gear is reserved for sure for you, your buddies, your family. Everyone else, they can wait. If the circumstances, as they appear to be, lead you to believe very strongly that there's no more fighting to be had and there's enough people there with enough gear that if something happens, there's still some additional gear that can be taken out and put into play right then and there, then yeah, you can use it on other people. But otherwise, no, they can wait until more supplemental gear gets there. So supplemental gear can be gear that you keep in your vehicle, a trauma bag. And a trauma bag is different than a first aid kit. A first aid kit, or what I call a boo-boo kit, is just a box that has things like Band-Aids, maybe some gauze, some tweezers, little burn ointment, and the Neosporin kind of crap in it, right? Like that's just a boo-boo kit. That's in case you get a little cut on your finger. That is not going to help with bullet wounds or knife wounds or any other traumatic injury. That's just for little boo-boos. So there are agencies out there and companies out there that may have a requirement in their SOPs or from their insurance to say, hey, you need a first aid kit in your office, or you need a first aid kit with all of your vehicles, your work site, whatever. And to meet that minimum requirement, to check it off the box, these places may just go out and buy the cheapest first aid kit they can get and put it there so they can check off that, hey, I've met this requirement with the first aid kit. Happens everywhere, right? That's not going to help you. That's not going to help when a person has true traumatic injuries. So you need to have a trauma kit there. Some agencies are nice where they can provide those things and put them in a car for officers because they have a big enough budget. Some agencies can't. Some agencies cannot afford that. Some agencies can't even afford to give their officer a freaking bulletproof vest or bullet resistant vest. Some agencies can't even afford to give their officers a gun. The officers have to bring their own gun to work. They got to bring their own vest to work. So in instances like that, I would recommend to the individual officers to buy their own stuff. Yes, I understand that some of the stuff is expensive, but would you rather shell out, $100, something like that, for this life-saving equipment and maybe have to suffer a month or two of eating some ham sandwiches? Or would you not get this and then the possibility of you or a teammate being injured in a fight and then dying because you did not have the equipment to save them, or you did not have the equipment to save yourself? I would rather suck it up, eat some ham sandwiches, bring them to work for a week, save that money, and take that saved money and buy good life-saving equipment. If you're a police officer working the street, then chances are there's some ambulance crews that you come across on a regular basis, maybe a fire truck crew that you come across on a regular basis. Y'all can build up a relationship, and while you're out on a call for something non-critical and you got time to sit back and chat, ask them if they got any extra gear to give you so that you can put into your trauma bag or build up your trauma bag. Ask them if they got a bag valve mask you can add to your trauma kit. Chances are they'll probably just give you that stuff. They got plenty of it. When they get back to their ambulance station or fire station, whatever, they'll go back to the supply room where there's like 100 more of these freaking things, and they'll just restock what they gave out. They can give you all kinds of gauze pads, a bunch of 4x4s. Like, no one goes through an ambulance. Oh, I don't want to say no one because there could be, those random people out there. But for the most part, there's no one that goes through and inventories all the 4x4 gauze pads, right? Like, no one goes through and says, oh, well, we ordered 1,025 gauze pads, and according to our EMS reports for this month, we utilized about 10 of them, but doing our count, it seems to be that we're missing 50 of them. Like, no one fucking does that, all right? So you can ask, the paramedics and the firefighters that to be able to give you some free stuff off the truck. And like I said, the majority of them, they'll do that. So you can get things like some gauze pads. You can maybe get some medical tape, some good EMS gloves, the ones that go a little bit higher above the wrist. Maybe even get a bag valve mask. Some shears. They've got disposable shears. They can give you some shears and stuff to keep. Like, you can get some free stuff off the ambulance or the fire truck that they can replace at no cost, and that's going to save you some money so that you can maybe buy something a little bit more expensive like a tourniquet. There are ways to get a good trauma kit. If all you do is come up with excuses about why you can't get one, then you're the problem.
Mac?
Where do you need to put that at?
Mac.
He's got an injury in it.
Start throwing some.
Alright, he looks.
That's fine.
I got one in the leg. You want to just finish with your shirt here?
You got a tourniquet?
Yeah.
So they're using the EMT shears to cut the clothing off. The shears work great. I've used them a lot to cut people's clothes off. They do good. A lot of the shears are just, they're disposable shears. They do pretty good, but over time of using them multiple times, they can kind of degrade and not be as well, or work as well. Leatherman. The company Leatherman, they make a set of EMT shears. I want to say it's called the Raptor. And these are some very, very heavy-duty shears. And they can fold up and be a little bit more compact. So, that's an option. Also, Benchmade, they have a product called a rescue hook. And it's almost like a seatbelt cutter in a way. And that's even a pretty good option that doesn't take up a whole lot of space, that you could even keep in your medical ankle kit or something like that, and be able to cut clothes away. You might not be able to, depending on the style of belts, cut through a belt very well, or maybe some, boots or something like that the shears could very easily cut through. But for the most of the clothing that you're going to encounter, I believe the rescue hook will do just a fine enough job in cutting that clothing off. I've actually used a rescue hook before to cut clothes off of a person. I kind of liked it a lot more than using shears because I felt like it was a lot more simpler to use. All I had to do was grab the clothing, lift up, take that hook it into clothing, and just rip downwards. I didn't have to sit there and work my thumb and fingers back and forth doing a scissoring motion and trying to fight with that. So I liked that one time that I had to cut clothes off a person with a rescue hook. I liked it. I thought it was a lot swifter. But I haven't done enough times to really get a good gauge on being able to give an opinion on which is better. But those are options to be able to quickly cut clothing off.
Anybody need another tourniquet?
No.
I got an extra one in my right pocket.
So from their conversations they're having, sounds like a lot of them are carrying tourniquets. I like that. That is good.
No, who's here? He had another. With the. In the.
One in his right shoulder.
So we see that they got the tourniquet on his leg. It's hard to tell from this angle. Let's see if I can see it there. Oh, back it up just a little bit more.
On the chest, couple on the leg.
Personally, I think the tourniquet could have been brought up a little bit higher. I'm from the school of tourniquets go high and tight. So the higher to that joint, the better. But you'll hear from other places that have a different school of thought.
One in his right shoulder.
in the chest.
Skip through this. Go to the different camera angle. Back that up.
There is a gun in my pocket.
Don't grab the gun! Fuck. Ah, shit.
Put your hands out to your side.
Which side? Roll him. Which side?
That's not.
Alright, so he does reach from his body and pulls out a package of gauze. So that was a very small package, and look how much gauze comes out. Like, that's a lot to be able to work with there. And it doesn't take up a whole lot of
We got one that
space.
looks like in the leg.
Is there anything that I can use for this quick clot?
Let's start this back one.
Alright, sir. Where is it? I can't see the hole. Okay.
Please help me.
You guys got cover while I do this? So I'm not.
Then he starts putting that gauze in that bullet hole right there to help stop the bleeding and get some clotting going on. I think that this particular bandage he has a quick clot impregnated into it, so that's going to help with stopping the bleeding pretty good.
Sir, just keep breathing, okay? Right here.
We pulled up and you fired.
You got it?
Hey, bud, what's your name?
What do you need to put light on here?
Can you just...
Not sure
He's
yet.
got an injury in his leg.
Okay.
Let me see. Let me take. Hey, let me get some light
So
on
it looks
here.
like he gets another one out. So, he's got multiple, I don't know how many pouches or these that he has on him, but I mean, it was a very small package to begin with. Doesn't take up a lot of space, so he's able to deal with multiple injuries with the amount of gear that he's carrying on him, and it doesn't take up a whole lot of room.
You guys got trauma shears or anything? If you got shears, help him with the leg.
Hey, anybody got a seatbelt cutter or anything like that?
I've got.
Yeah.
All right, so pant legs. So with shirts and stuff, especially when a person's cuffed or whatever, obviously it's a lot easier to cut shirts off. That way you're not having to move a person a whole lot or lift their upper torso. When it comes to pants, I'm just a fan of pulling the pants down
Just finish with your shirt.
and just tugging them down and taking them off that way.
You got it?
Yeah, just got this.
I mean, you can obviously cut the pants and stuff like that. Minimize the amount of movement that you're interjecting into a person. But I mean, realistically, all you really need to do is loosen that belt up, unbutton the pants, and just tug them down. They'll come straight off. It's a whole lot easier to pull pants off of a person than it is to take a shirt off of a person.
Just take them off. Hey, what's your name, partner? He's talking.
And this is what he's doing. He's just pulling the pants down. I like that method a whole lot better. A lot quicker.
Stay with us, friend.
Get ready. I need you to go to the hospital.
Do you have any other holes?
He's got one in his right shoulder.
Right.
Throw it in my right pocket.
Oop. I need to go a bit higher.
Yep. Get that thing up there.
Yep.
Don't go to sleep. Stay up, all right? Stay awake. Keep talking to us. What's your name?
Get on him.
If you need another one, he got any other down on his right arm here? No, we're here at the onset to make shots.
Sir?
The leg.
So I feel like they did as much as they could with the equipment that they had, and probably, the extent of their scope of practice. Most police officers don't have much medical training. Probably the most what they have all across the nation is going to be first aid training, and first aid training being from either Red Cross or American Heart, something like that. It's probably about the extent of what the majority of the police in this country have. Some agencies may provide some additional training on how to do things like add tourniquets. It may be more specific on that, dealing with gunshot wounds. It may not be something from a large entity like Red Cross or American Heart. And then you may have some officers out there who've been in the military and they've had combat lifesaver, things like that. They're a little bit more knowledgeable in regards to that stuff. And then you may have some officers out there who are trained as EMTs, whether they took that training upon themselves to get that level. You know, they could be involved in more than just being a police officer or even a security guard. They could be a volunteer firefighter and got their EMT license that way. So some have higher levels of training, but most of them are just basic first aid classes that the department provides or the company provides. So it varies from agency to agency and really within an agency, person to person. Some take the training more serious, some do not. It's kind of a gamble. These guys seem to be pretty well prepared and knowledgeable and trained. So I would say that based off what I've seen, they've been given some decent medical training. So that's good. They carry the medical gear on them. That's obvious. That's great. I love seeing that. These guys seem pretty squared away. Now the guy, who I don't know why, like I said earlier, I don't know why this guy decided to do what he did. He made a very stupid decision. Yeah, he was drunk, but I mean, you have to, like, it has to, the thought would have to cross your mind that if you pull this gun out on the police, they're going to shoot. His gun was real. He had ammunition in it. This is crap. I can't remember the name of this ammo. It's got a synthetic body to it. I'm gonna do a really quick search on it. Synthetic ammo. It's basically training ammunition. American Eagle Syntec TSJ synthetic tip ammo. I believe this is the answer to reducing lead at gun ranges. And yeah, I think that's what this is. It's just training ammo, pretty much. But it's obviously still ammo and still completely deadly. I mean, just because it's training ammo doesn't mean it won't kill. Plenty of people carry what I would call training ammo, full metal jacket, and it's it's deadly. And of course, other places wouldn't call it training ammo; they call it go to war ammo. Yeah, it's funny. Depends on where you're at. If you're in the military, it's go to war ammo. If you're in law enforcement, it's training ammo. But yeah, that's what he's got there. Yeah, not much else to say about this. This guy made a dumb decision and cost him his life. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense, thank you for watching.